Hi, I'm Amida Castro and I'm an English teacher. These videos I'm making them for my students. I am uploading them just in case somebody else might find them useful. But I am uploading them because I want my students to have this information and be able to study on their own. I already explained this in class, so I'm using the presentation I used in class. And well, I hope they're helpful, okay? These videos are an introduction for verbs, and we're going to be looking at the different tenses and how we use them and how we create them and what the structure is, etc., right? So what would be a good sentence with the verb tenses, right? That's what we're going to be focusing on. So but I never go into immediately start explaining the present simple, which is normally what we do. No, we start presenting the present simple and then the past simple and the present continuous and stuff like that. So I never do that. I start with the verb forms, and I want to, and I also work on my students learning the irregular verbs, at least the 80 most common irregular verbs. So that's where we're going to start with these videos. Today I'm going to work on the verb forms, and the verb forms, you have to understand something, that a verb form is not necessarily a tense, although sometimes it is, okay? But it's not necessarily that. These are just the way you will find verbs in sentences, okay? It's like, for me, that's the way I explain it because I love explaining things as if they were people. No, so for me, verb forms, a verb is a person, and the verb forms are the different ways that person might present themselves, or that person might present him or herself in the world, right? So I don't usually wear this for work, for example. I have a uniform, so I would wear my uniform. And that's one way of presenting myself, with a uniform, right? And when I go to the gym, well, I'm not going to the gym right now, but pandemic and everything, But when I did go to the gym, or when I do my exercise here at home, I wear something completely different, comfortable, nice, comfortable, especially comfortable. And so we don't present ourselves the same way everywhere we go. So that's what verb forms are. And we have to learn to recognize them, because then it will be so much easier. First of all, not to confuse them with the tenses, because like I said, not always do we have tenses. Are they representing a tense or a time? Okay, so let's start. This is the picture we chose in the class. It was Emma Watson. I just asked for a person who was famous, and we came up with her. So she's great, right? I love the way she acts. She was in the Harry Potter movies when she was younger. But these are different ways that you can see her, right? But Emma Watson is a person, right? But she has played different roles in different moments of her life, just like all of us. So that's what a verb form is, okay? So these are the verb forms: the base form, the third person singular, the past participle, the infinitive, and the gerund, okay? Or the ing form. That's what it is. Now, infinitive and base form are in many lists of verbs. You will find that the infinitive is used as the base form, and some of them you say base form, some of them say infinitive. I make a difference between them because I have this word here added to it, to. So to me, this is the to infinitive. Now, this to makes it very elegant. As you can see, her dress here is very, very elegant. So I imagine it like that. So let's start. The base form is the name of the verb. Okay, that's the base form. The base form is the name of the verb. So that's what it is. That's run, type, drink, use, win, wear. Here are some verbs that we used in class in that moment. So, and then the third person singular this is important because it's the third person singular. This is used in the present simple, okay? But we're not going to worry about that right now. The important thing is that third person singular has an S, okay? The third person singular has an S. Runs, types, drinks, uses, wins, and wears. Okay? So that's the third person singular. It has an S. Okay? So whenever you see the verb with an S there, that's a third person singular. Okay. Then we have the past and the past participle. When you learned the irregular verbs, you will find the list with the base, the past, and the past participle. Past part and past participle come together in the list, just for you to remember them faster and easier, right? Some verbs, you might already know this. If not, I'll just tell you right now. Some verbs like run are irregular verbs because they are irregular because they don't follow a rule. Normally we have rules, right? But when somebody doesn't follow the rule, they are irregular. They have their own mind, they make their own decisions, etc. So some verbs don't follow the rules of the past and the past participle. The rule of the past and past participle is an ed at the end. So whenever you find an ed at the end, it's the past and the past participle. And it's exactly the same in the regular verbs. We just add ed. Type, typed. Notice that here we have and we'll focus on the spelling a little later, okay? But do notice that some words have a silent E at the end, type. So we only need to add the D, right? Typed, to make it, well, it's already there. You don't need to add another E. Otherwise, it would say typed, right? So it would be a completely different pronunciation. Okay, so, but some words like run, like drink, like win here, and wear, are irregulars. They change completely in the past and the past participle. Run, ran, run, so they have different words here. You drink, drank, drunk, win, won, won. We repeat them here, but they are completely different from the base form. And wear, wore, worn. So these are the things that you might find. So that's the past and the past participle. And use, which is a regular verb, also has an E at the end, a silent E, so we only add the ED, the D, right? Used and used. Now the to infinitive, and notice how I changed the pictures here, right? So we have the third person singular, she looks beautiful, right? So whenever you see someone like she's really, well, you're talking about that person. When you're talking about that person, has an S. She looks beautiful. She speaks softly. Okay? And then we have the past and the past participle. This is in the past. She was a little child. And the past participle, she has been famous for a long time. That's why I chose this picture. She has been famous for a long time. And these are things that have to do with your experience. And we'll get to that later. But right now, the important thing is that that's how you write the past participle. Okay? ED, if it's a regular, and when it's an irregular verb, you will have to learn them by heart. You'll just have to memorize them. But I'll show you how. It's really easy to memorize them. And then we have the infinitive. Now, I call it, like I said, the base form and the infinitive in many lists are considered the same thing. But I make a difference with the to infinitive because you will find the to run, the to type, to drink in sentences with that form. And that's the infinitive. You are using to plus the infinitive, right? Or the base form. And that becomes an infinitive. So that's why I make a difference just to help my students. And also because in the book that I'm using, which I'm not going to mention which is the book, they also make the difference, right? So you will find these little details. But remember, the infinitive is the same thing as the base form. So the to infinitive, I always imagine it like very famous. No, I like to have a cup of coffee in the afternoon. I like to walk during the mornings. No, so it's very, very elegant. I don't know. I don't know why I imagine it like that, but that's how I imagine it. So to run, it's just the base form with to, right? To run, to type, to drink, to use, to win, to wear. So that one's really easy. You just have to know the base form. And then we have the gerund form or the ing form, okay? Now, that's why I like to make a difference between the forms and the tenses, because since the ing form is very much used in the continuous or progressive tenses, a lot of people look at running and they immediately imagine that you are doing it in that moment, and that's not necessarily like that. Okay, sometimes we can be talking about running is good for you, no? Or typing might be difficult if you don't know how to. So we're not talking about the continuous form in these cases. So it's important that you recognize the ing form so that you can recognize when is it used as a continuous form and when it's not. Okay, so running, as you can see, we just not need to have the base form plus the ing form. That's what you do, right? I'll give you the spelling rules in a little while, but running, that's what you have to do. You have to have the base form plus the ing form. That's the rule, okay? Of course, to make it possible to pronounce, you do have to follow certain types of rules. For example, this rule. You have one syllable, it's stressed because it's one syllable, run. So you have a consonant, vowel, consonant, you have to double the consonant. So you double the consonant over here, okay? Run, running, type, typing. Notice that the silent E's are used in the rule when we have the D, when we add the D to add ed, or eliminated completely when you are going to add the ing. So type, typing, drink, drinking. Notice how it's drink, and then you just add ing. Use, using. Again, we have a silent e at the end. Win, winning. Again, we have a consonant, vowel, consonant. We double the consonant and I add ing. Wearing, we don't need to do anything. We just write wear, ing, because there is no consonant, vowel, consonant, right? So that's basically it. So pretty much that's what the verb forms are. Here are some more examples. Love, silent e at the end, loves, loved, loved, to love, loving. Okay, we eliminate the e here to add the ing form because it's a silent e at the end. Okay, plan, plans. This is, let me fix that. Didn't notice. As you can see, it's not going to be so perfect, but it's not the intention right now. So, okay, plans, we have an S, planned, consonant, vowel, consonant, one stressed syllable, planned, we double the N, to, plan, and planning, consonant, vowel, consonant, double the N. Wash. Whenever we have words that finish with an SH, CH, or X, or S, or double S, so whenever it's difficult to pronounce an S at the end, the S at the end, we add ES, right? Wash, washes, because to pronounce wash, it's just too much, no? So wash, S. We actually pronounce the S, right? Wash, washes. Washed, this is regular verb, washed, washed, to wash, and washing. Worry, whenever we have a Y at the end, preceded by a consonant, okay, this Y is actually being used or being pronounced as a vowel. So because it's being pronounced as a vowel, we change it to a vowel, to the I, and add ES. Worries. to make it possible to pronounce. Again, if we didn't do that, it would just yes. You would be saying something like that, so it's not possible. Worries. Worried, regular verb, worried. We change the Y to an I. Worried, we change the Y to an I. ED. To worry and worrying. Notice that we didn't change anything here. We don't need to change anything here. Okay? Why? Well, first of all, you would have two I's here, which is just not going to work. Okay? And then there's no need to change the Y. Worrying. You are perfectly following all the pronouncing each of the syllables without any problem. So we don't need to do that. And the rule for the gerund is we use the base form plus the ing form. Okay? So if the base form is worry, there's no need to change anything. It doesn't follow the same rules as the past and the past participle or the third person singular. Okay, then base. We have do, does, did, and again we have an irregular verb. Does. There are does, goes, we add es, okay? Otherwise, it would be does, not does. So that's why we have es. Okay, do, does, did, done, to do, doing, and refer, refers, referred, to refer, and referring. Notice how in referred, and referring, we double the R, okay? We double the R. We have a consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, double the consonant. Referred, referring. Okay. So the rules for the third person singular. And remember, this is the third person singular. Loves, plans, washes, worries, does, refers. Okay. If we have an SH, CH, double S, S, X, or Z, we add ES, okay? Finish, finishes. Touch, touches. Pass, passes. Relax, relaxes. Bus, buses. For verbs ending in a consonant plus a Y, change the Y to an I and add ES. Study, studies. Worry, worries. Remember, you have a consonant before the Y. If you don't have a consonant before the Y, for example, in play, you don't have a consonant before the Y. So there's absolutely no need to change anything. It's played, ed at the end, and that's it. Okay? So change the Y to an I only if there's a consonant before it. Study, there's a consonant here. This is actually being used as a vowel sound, so we can change it to a vowel. Studies, worries, denies, and flies. Okay. And then we have, for verbs that have a special spelling, these are go, do, have, and verb to be. Go, goes. Do, does. Have, has. Be, am, is, are. In the case of the third person singular, we have is. Okay, I am, you are. And this is just the present, but in the third person singular, it's is. And you can barely see it here, but there's the is, okay? And then we have for other verbs, add an S. Like, likes, buy, buys, see, sees, speak, speaks, show, shows. So any other situation, just add an S, and that's it. That's the third person singular. And then we have the past and the past participle for regular verbs. We only add ed, right? That's when the base form of a regular verb ends in e, we only add the, close, closed, refused, refused, dance, dance, because this e is silent, and then we just use it to finish the syllable. Close, closed. When the base form ends in a consonant plus y, change the I to change the y to an I and add ed, right? So we have study, studied, worried, worried, identified, identified. Again, we have to change the y because it's next to a consonant, so it's being used as a vowel sound, I mean. And when the base form has one syllable and ends in a consonant, vowel, consonant, like I said, we have plan, consonant, vowel, consonant, double N, planned. Jog, consonant, vowel, consonant, jogged. Drop, consonant, vowel, consonant, dropped. Okay? The exceptions to these rules are Y, X, and W. You cannot have two W's or two X's together or two Y's. So you don't do it. Okay? Notice here how played, you don't double anything because you don't have a consonant, vowel, consonant, and you have a Y here, right? So when the base form has two syllables and ends in a consonant, vowel, consonant, at the last syllable and the last syllable is stressed, you must double the consonant. Same situation for two syllables, but the last syllable is stressed, just double the R. Well, double the consonant, the last consonant, if you have a consonant, vowel, consonant. Refer, that's a stress. When you remember that stress means that it sounds stronger than the other syllable. So refer, regret, right? So we have a consonant, vowel, consonant, we double the consonant. For all the other regular verbs, just add ed. Open, opened. Invent, invented. Destroy, destroyed. Okay? So that's the spelling for the ed of the regular verbs and the past participle. Remember, regular verbs of past and past participle. Okay, then we have the spelling of the ing form of the verb gerund. Practically, the spelling, the rule is add ing. That's it, right? So if the base form of the verb ends in a vowel, consonant, sound, and E, in other words, if it ends in a silent E, drop the E and add ing. So we have live, silent E, living. We don't need it, right? Cause, we don't need it, silent E, causing. Become, silent E, becoming. Take, silent E, taking. The base form in one syllable, if the base form is one syllable and it ends in a consonant, vowel, consonant, double the consonant. Exceptions, we already talked about this. W, X, and Y, right? Put, putting. Win, winning. We have to double consonant, vowel, consonant, double the T, consonant, double consonant, vowel, consonant, double the N, consonant, vowel, consonant, double the P, etc. Winning, winning, drop, dropping, hit, hitting. Consonant, vowel, consonant, double the consonant. So the base for, I repeat that a lot because that's how I remembered it. I remember a teacher that was always repeating it. So that's how I remember it. The base form has more than one syllable. It ends in a consonant, vowel, consonant. Exceptions, and the last syllable is stressed. The same situation. If we have two or, well, more than one syllable, two syllables in this case, forget, forgetting. Begin, beginning. Commit, committing. We have double T's, double N's, and double T's over here because we have a consonant, vowel, consonant, and in the word, the last syllable is stressed. Forget, begin, commit. So we have to double there. So as you can see, it's practically the same rule. For rule number 4, if the base form ends in IE, change the IE to a Y and add ing. Okay, so this is practically this logic over here. When we have study and we want to change it to the past tense, because it's an ed form of a regular verb, we would have to change the Y to an I and add ed to maintain the sound. Studied, studied, studied. So we can change that Y to an IE. Same situation in this. If you have a IE, like in tie or die, we would change the IE to a Y to keep the pronunciation tying without having to have an IE, ing. No, that would be terrible spelling. So tying. So that's it. Die, dying, tie, tying, lie, lying. And then for number 5, for any other verb, just add ing. Okay, play, playing, show, showing, help, helping, read, reading. And that's basically the verb. Those are basically the verb forms. So as you can see here, Just remember, we have base, third person singular, past, past participle, infinitive, and gerund. And try making your own charts, following the rules. You can always check on the internet if you're spelling them correctly. And if you have any questions, well, write on the comments. Bye. Thank you.